Okay, that was loud. So welcome. I'm Daniel from Intinor. I'm the regional sales manager, so I do a lot of work with our customers and a lot of support. So I help them with live video over public internet. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. We are having some issues with the presentation, so we'll see how that works. Some background on Intinor. Intinor was founded in 2003 by Roland Axelsson. He's still the founder. Well, yes, he is. But he's still the product manager and still with us as a company. We are now 20 people in Umeå and one in Munich, a privately owned company by the founders and also the employees. Working with direct sales in Nordics, resellers in Europe, and through a distributor here in the US. So that's why you see the Exertis broadcast logo everywhere here. Our goal is to deliver the best and most comprehensive solution for live video over the internet. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. We try to do this with our direct series. The black units are our encoders. Blue is our direct router, and the green one is our direct receiver. We're going to have a closer look at these products and also the solutions we have, and also some of the problems we're trying to solve. We have them in different form factors. Sometimes you need cellular bonding, sometimes you want this as a backpack, sometimes you need a unit to have in your home because you're doing remote commentary or something like that. So the magic that we do is in the software. So even though we sell hardware, the software is what creates the solutions. Some references of customers that are using our equipment. They are ranging from the small production company to the big ones as the Switch, ESL and esports, ATP, tennis, NEP, and so on. So just to give you some kind of range in what we're doing. The topics that I want to go through today is from Feed Magazine in this autumn 2021. The top challenges for broadcasters are currently transition to IP, enabling remote collaboration, and we will also look at use cases and solutions to how we can solve these issues. Transition to IP is big for everyone. I think it's very different depending on what type of company you're in and what type of segment you're in the industry. But some examples are when we need to go on internal networks from SDI to NDI, for example, and that's almost 100 megabit per video stream, or SMTP 2110. That's a lot more and usually handled for big broadcasters and so on. Right now we actually don't support 2110, but I wanted to have that on the list as well. For audio, for example, Dante and AS67 for digital audio. External, we're talking a lot about the public internet. We're talking about 3G, 4G, 5G, satellite, KA-SAT, KU-SAT. I have a lot of dots around Wi-Fi, so don't use Wi-Fi. But to solve these, we have something we like to call the Swedish Army knife. That's the big blue box in the middle. The big picture solution for us is to have a platform that is open. We like to offer interoperability. We want to offer all protocols. We don't know them all, but hopefully in a couple of years. We've started with the bigger open source protocols like SRT and RIST. This is to be able to handle transport protocol translation. So if you are working together with customers that have SRT encoders or that wants to receive SRT, you should be able to do that with one box and not be able to have a lot of different boxes. We also do a lot of stuff. I won't go through everything. I won't go through every box on this graphics. Yeah, the main thing I wanted to show you and wanted to point towards is the big picture solution. To have something that can handle a lot of protocols coming in and a lot of protocols coming out. The clicker is a bit off, but we'll hopefully manage to do that. So the other topic was enabling remote collaboration. Remote collaboration, or REMI, or remote production, remote commentary, a lot of these are within the same kind of factors. The beginning, or the easy part, was having one encoder, that's the black one, and having a decoder on the other side where you did your production. When COVID hit, the producer wasn't able to come to the studio anymore. The internet connections and everything was still the same, but we needed to fly out a producer. Or not fly out a producer, have a producer at home to be able to take these feeds, take it home, or be able to monitor them from home from their own network. We also had remote commentators. Commentators couldn't go to the venues, so we had to put them at home as well. We started to get questions about cameras. How can we control the cameras? Because we can't have staff on site. We started to get questions about remote guests. We want to have guests that are using vMix, or we have guests that are using OBS or Zoom, or Larix is a good example of an app that you can use that sends SRT. We also got questions about having other vendors' encoders sending back to us, because at this specific event we need to use another company because we can't send this company back home. So, for example, Haivision encoders with SRT, or a Net Insight encoder that can send RIST. So all of these questions were kind of tumbled upon each other, and we needed to answer them quickly. And a lot of these were answered by adding open source protocols, like, for example, SRT and RIST. I took this picture with me just to kind of showcase the similarities and also the differences. SRT, RIST, and Bifrost, our own proprietary transport protocol, is all based on UDP. They can all call or send out a video signal. They have SRT, for example, has something called listener, which is request, which is very good because you can traverse through firewall with this. So all of these protocols have their different advantages, and in certain circumstances is very good to use. They have forward error correction, which sends redundant data that we can use if we have packet loss. They have ARQ, which resends packages. One big difference on our system and on RIST is that we have network bonding. So we can use multiple different internet connections to get the packages or the video from A to B. We also have something called receiver bonding, so you can also have dual internet connections on your receiver. I think that the most important part, and what we are also showing at our stand, is to have a system that can handle multiple protocols. Because we don't want to put anyone in a box. You want to be able to use different protocols on different occasions. The next slide is a use case, and I'm going to go through a couple of them. This was for ESL. ESL is an esports company. They had a tournament called the IM Intel Masters. The production is done in a big event, a big stadium in Katowice. and the producers and the production crew is in Germany, in Cologne. So all of these, we have I can point with this, the blue units have SDI inputs and SDI outputs. With dual internet connections, we could send 8 feeds going from Poland to Germany. We could send 4 return feeds for monitoring and other remote work, and also have full frame sync on all of these streams, because they were fully in line, and it was important that they could switch between the different frames and the different cameras they were using. And this was then also distributed to Twitch and broadcasters from Cologne through the direct encoders. And the most important part for this, I would say, is the dual internet connections on both locations, to be able to get multiple paths to actually have redundancy on your internet connection. Next slide will be a remote commentary slide. Viaplay Group offers Formula 1, Champions League and other Tier 1 events with local commentary. Commentators are sitting at home or in local studios in Iceland, Sweden, Denmark, in the Baltics. They're opening up new locations more or less every year. So the program is being sent from the production site, or where they're actually getting this content. If it's Formula 1, it's in the Netherlands. If it's Champions League, it's somewhere else. This is being sent to Denmark or to Sweden. The program is redistributed using ultra-low latency. So you have ultra-low latency of around 0.5 seconds to the users or commentators that we have on the far side here that have one of these smaller boxes at home. That box has HDMI out and can be connected with an intercom system. So the only thing we're sending back is the audio, and this gives the viewers a high quality feed and on the language that they desire. And this is also a good example of when we're using Bifrost in one step, but we're using SRT in other steps, where it's more fitting to the use case. Another use case, I talked about us having different form factors. We did the Odisha Hockey Men's Junior World Cup, that's field hockey. They wanted to have our rack encoders, but they wanted to have cellular bonding. So this unit has a rack box with up to 8 built-in modems. It's being sent with a tripod and antennas. So once they go on site, they can use the fixed internet connection they have, but also cellular bonding or cellular connections. They did 48 games in 11 days, 10 or 12 cameras with full production, clean feed on site. They had 2 of these kits on each location to have full redundancy. They had the control room, even though this event was in India, the control room for graphics and commentary sat in Stockholm. Return video was sent with graphics and commentary. Four-wire TalkBack was used to get communication between the on-site team and the control room. And low latency feeds was also sent to London to get British commentators on the feed as well. We also did contribution via the BT towers to 10 or 12 broadcasters. Also, good combination of Bifrost and SRT. Next slide. This is more or less what we've been talking about, but I also wanted to showcase that you could have the Internet Direct Router in the cloud using AWS, for example. In this case, we had units on site with cellular bonding. We had VPN to control the PTZ cameras, return video mixer, and we used one or more cameras depending on how much bandwidth we had. We sent Bifrost to AWS, and in AWS we also had a vMix instance. So we did the production in vMix on our virtual platform. We could also integrate other guest callers by using vMix call, for example. Integrating our system together with other production systems to give you a good, better full picture. Also, we used NDI in the cloud between these two instances. Also, I divided this part here because down here was the producers sitting at home with a PTZ controller and also a stream deck to be able to control the video mixer on site, to be able to control the PTZ cameras, and also to have the VPN tunnel. And then distribution to viewers. This event was broadcasted on YouTube, but can be, of course, sent anywhere. And yeah, I ran through this pretty quickly. I'm not going to do any questions because we have a tight schedule. So I'm staying over there in W9511. Catch me over here or come over to our stand if you have any questions. We have some gear up there as well, where you can we can show you some more. Yeah, that's me. Thank you very much.